I am now going into my third week of my 100x experiment. This is where I've committed to doing 100 times the volume of all the marketing activities of my biggest competitor, Debbie Foster. So, fascinating development. There is a group of 7 to 10 professionals who've been inspired by this experiment, and they've decided to also increase their output drastically over the month of November. So I'll be honest, initially I did not really anticipate that other individuals would join in this increase in activity. So I had no guidance because I was still figuring it out by myself. But after 2 weeks of actually increasing my output by 100x, here are my thoughts to anyone thinking about doing something similar. So I think one of the most visible components of my 100x experiment are my increase on social media posts. So I've gone from posting 3 times a week to posting 300 times a week on social media. This is videos, texts, image-based assets. So I think because of this, most people think that this challenge is just about posting more on social media, and it's not that. To me, for this experiment to be successful, I need to be increasing the volume on activities that ladder up to a larger goal. So for example, my goal was to increase the number of qualified leads that I receive in a given month. The typical month for me brings in 3.3 leads on average. So the way I design this experiment is that I analyze all of my marketing initiatives currently and prioritize the ones that have actually brought lead flow to my company. This is primarily my social media posts, my cold outreach, my referral requests, my conversations with strategic partners of mine, and for good measure, digital ads. So what I committed to doing was increasing my inputs in those 6 domains, since I knew those were most likely to achieve the results that I was desiring. Now this is where it gets deep. If I were to redesign this experiment for myself, I would actually only choose one category. I believe this experiment would be much more successful if I had first identified my limiting constraint and then focused solely on that particular metric. It's easier to affect change on a metric that's performing at 10% currently and moving it to 20% versus choosing something that's at 95% and trying to get to 96 or 97%. And honestly, I can't help but seeing the link between this and our Leverage AI framework, which essentially focuses on that same foundation of identifying the limiting constraint in your law firm and then solving that with AI rather than first starting with a tool. So for anyone who needs a bump in performance and just wants to end the year on a high note, this is how I would go about 100xing my inputs. Pick one, identify your limiting constraint, whether that be lead flow or whether that be volume of projects output for your clients, whatever that might be, and then pick one particular activity that ladders up to attaining that goal. Focus primarily on that and increase your efforts and inputs into that for the next 30 days to see measurable change. That's it for this one. Of course, if you like legal tech tips, follow me on LinkedIn. And if you're someone who likes more in-depth explainers, go check out our YouTube page, Paragon Tech, where there's an exhaustive library of content. Make sure to go subscribe while you're over there. And until the next one, peace.